Hello, my friends. This is my presentation for my computer graphics class at the University of Washington. Everyone in this class must complete a final project by the end of the quarter, which is around in early March. My project is called Blast Force. This is going to be a 3D video game. It's based on Blast Core, if you ever played that game, released in 1997, I believe, 1998. There's a nuclear bomb on a truck traveling through a city. The truck can't change directions and it's going to collide into some buildings. Your job, as you control a bulldozer, is to destroy all the buildings, clearing the path for the truck so it doesn't explode and set off a nuclear missile in some cityscape. It's honestly just a fun wrapper around, like, hey, let's destroy some buildings, and honestly it was one of my favorite games growing up. And so I think for my computer graphics class it's going to be a fun, easy game to make. I mean, there's no such thing as really an easy game to make. But this one adds a lot of nice and interesting techniques that I'll be learning about in my quarters, and while at the same time being a fun video game to make. The project will be built in Unity. It's a technology I've been wanting to learn more about for a long time, and actually I won't say that. The minimum requirements for what I want for a game is I wanted an animated bulldozer model, I want a building model that can be destroyed, I want a truck bomb model, a flat ground for vehicles to travel on, player controls to move the bulldozer, collision detection to have buildings destroy on impact, the truck bomb moves on a set path, buildings have physics and fall apart, and I want there to be plenty of explosion effects. I'm really excited about that one. My professor says it's pretty easy to make, explosion effects, particle effects, things like that. I know Unity has some built-in tools for that because Unity is amazing, but I don't know any of that. I'm excited to learn about that. And these are the minimum requirements I want for my own personal project. This has nothing to do with what the professor wants. The professor wants, this is what he wants. He wants us to use colors and transparency, transforms and rotations. You can list them all there. And all these actually do get implemented, so colors and transparency, that's obviously going to be in the truck model. Transforms rotations, the truck is moving, that's easy. The cameras and lights, that's already built into Unity, very easy. Use textures, again, already built in. Use animation, I do want my bulldozer to have animated treads. That's going to be an interesting problem. I've actually already been thinking about how to animate it. I've never animated a model like that before. It's just, the way the treads move is really different from typical bone structures that I've worked with before, so this will be a really tough challenge. I'm going to have to use surface recognition, solid modeling, and model physics and world features. That's going to be like buildings falling apart, acceleration. So my project is going to cover everything here. I'm excited about that. And let's get into the timeline. So I only have 7 weeks left in the quarter. So just let's make an arbitrary note of saying a milestone every Monday, and let's actually begin this coming Monday in what, 3 days? 2 days? Sunday, yeah, 2 days. So first milestone, that should be this Monday. I want to have Unity set up. I want there to be a gray cube that will be eventually the bulldozer. I want the players to be able to move the gray cube with a controller, and I want to start building the bulldozer model. All these sound really achievable, really easy to do. Mostly just getting things set up, and from what I learned in my software engineering class, this is really similar to what's called a zero feature release, where the game won't have any functionality, or very, very little. It's more that I can use the technology across my computer at home and my laptop, which I'll be taking to school. I can work on both platforms, and I know how to release the game eventually. All important stuff to know. Milestone 2, that's going to be the week after. I want to have the bulldozer model finished. I'm not expecting a lot of detail for the bulldozer model. I am not a fantastic modeler, but I do know the basics, so that's what I'm expecting, just a really rudimentary bulldozer model. Even looking at the one that they did back in 1998 for Blast Core, that should suffice for me. Collision world boundaries, that's built into Unity. It shouldn't be too difficult to just add that really quickly to a bulldozer model. Gray rectangle for buildings, don't want to have a building model just yet, but start getting there. And I want the bulldozer to be able to destroy the building. I don't want any kind of special effects yet. I just expect it like, does a bulldozer collide with the building? Great, make the building just disappear. Next week, I want buildings that can only be destroyed by the front of the bulldozer, or I would really like to see some kind of like damage and health attributes to the buildings and the bulldozer, because that's how it feels like it works in the Blast Core game, because it is possible to destroy buildings with like the back of the bulldozer, but it just takes a very long time. I want the bulldozer to be textured. Again, there's not much to that, so I don't need much detail. I'm expecting mostly just to be like flat colors, maybe a little bit of shading. The building is now modeled as separate parts, so that way, that's how I imagine getting a building to physically fall apart in game would work, is that you have multiple building models that then you stack on top of each other, so that way when one part gets destroyed, another part falls down and crumbles down on top of it. That's what it looked like in the Blast Core game, and I'm just really trying to copy paste what they're doing and seeing what they're doing, because it's an educational thing, and that's how you learn. Next week, I want the building model to have physics, i.e. you break a lower part, the top part falls down. And I want the bulldozer treads animated. That's what I talked about earlier. It's going to be difficult. I don't know how to do it exactly, but it's going to take a lot of guessing and checking, so that's why this milestone is pretty lightweight otherwise. Next week, I want to have explosion effects put into the building. Again, I actually don't know what that means, how to do that, or anything, so that'll be a really interesting, there'll be a lot of learning there. We'll be talking about that in class around this time, I hope. But either way, the professor sounds like it's going to take, he expects me to do the research on how to implement particle effects and explosions myself. And I'm sure there's a bunch of tutorials in Unity for that, so I shouldn't be too worried. I want the bomb to now be an object in the game as a gray block, and the bomb moves slowly on a set path. Next week, the bomb is now modeled. The bomb has collision, and the bomb explodes on collision with the building or the player, and the game over on bomb explosion. Then the final week, I want another view to see the bomb. In other words, I want there to be two cameras, one for the player's truck and one for the bomb, and I want you to be able to switch back and forth. This was a requirement by the professor for any of our projects. He wants there to be like multiple cameras. That's a cool thing that you could do. And, again, Unity should make it pretty easy, rather very easy to do that. And up until now, I actually almost forgot about user interface because there's not much that I need. There's no start menu, there's no menuing or anything, but I want there to be at least a basic UI to show you how much money and damage you've done up until this point. I probably will add a menu as an extra, because that seems pretty important for a video game, so you can exit kind of more elegantly, as opposed to just hitting the escape key and then the entire program just cuts out and ends. But anyway, that is everything. It seems pretty lightweight. I've tried making games before, and so now I've scaled back. I've tried to do the absolute littlest, the smallest thing that I can imagine that also covers what I want to do. You'll notice that there's no talking about like, oh, I want 6 levels by now. I don't want no, like no extra content. I want this to be really streamlined. And actually, that's where we get into the additional features. Where if I'm ahead of schedule and things are going really well, and I've hit milestone 6 by week 3, then I want to start probably reschedule the entire milestones and add some of these additional features. These are ordered from most important to least important, so I want there to be tiny destructible buildings, like little crates and things that will just destroy upon one impact. It adds a little nice details to the world. I want there to be a larger variety of large buildings. Up until now there's only one, and copy pasting, that's just, again, more content. Tiny world assets, those are going to be things like bridges or different road textures, so it creates a more vibrant world. I want there to be the terrain with hills, some hills that are impassable. This should be really, really, really easy to do, and in fact I probably will add this to my game anyway. I want there to be cool explosions. I want to do a lot of work with explosions to see if I can make them any cooler. And the last additional feature is more vehicles. That's a bit of a stretch. I'd probably add more levels before I do more vehicles, because coding another vehicle is going to be much more challenging than just coding another level where I just pick and place assets again. Where if I was going to do another vehicle, it's another model, it's another texturing, it's another animating, another collision box. It's a lot of additional work, but again, really cool if I have the time for it. And that, my friends, is going to be what's called Blast Force. Of course, it's really similar to Blast Core. I'm very excited about it, and I will post another video on Monday showing my progress and how things are going. As far as the class goes, it's expected that he expected us to take only 3 weeks for the entire project, but I'm kind of doing my own thing, and I'll be working on this all quarter long because I've already worked a bit with computer graphics, and so some of the beginning content is a little redundant for me, and while it's really interesting getting to learn it from a new point of view, that is, he's teaching us about like interesting aspects of the history of computer graphics, where all these terminologies come from and what they mean. So it's a good class. I am absolutely loving it, but I am doing a lot more with this project than I think he expects any of us to actually do, and I'm okay with that. I'm very excited about it. Anywho, thank you for watching, and look out this coming Monday. What is that? The 18th? Yeah, the 18th. I'll have another video, hopefully with my first milestone completed and everything going swimmingly. Thank you.